It's the Brandon Cruz Daily Fantasy Podcast, where I go and look at low-end plays and strategies specifically designed for GPPs. This is a show for people who are already informed on daily fantasy sports and how this contest operate. If you have any questions related to NASCAR that isn't a stupid question, feel free to shoot them my way at BrandonCruzDFS on Twitter. Most importantly, take everything here with a grain of salt and use your best judgment when making entries. Additionally, if you have gambling addiction, that is not my problem. Check your sense of feelings at the door. Two quick things real quick. I'm re-recording this podcast. I uploaded it to YouTube. For whatever reason, the audio was bad. I went back and looked at my original file, and my audio wasn't good. It was like lagging, a little bit syncing, and it was a bad take anyway. So I'm going to re-record it. So if you were one of the few guys who, I think about 4 guys saw it before I deleted it. So that's why you're seeing this again. It's a different podcast. I'm going to go a little bit slower, a little bit more in depth, and all that. So anyway, let's get into it. And also, related to the Xfinity Series race, I know I mentioned this in the last one, but I spent about an hour this morning looking at the Xfinity Series lineups, trying to decode the clue, the answer to, the perfect lineup to enter in the $8 GPP or the $3 GPP or, the bigger GPPs out there. And I was like, dude, there's no way. Everybody's going to run the same core. The same core. It's about the player pool that most people are going to use. It's about 12 drivers. And it's just those 12 drivers to where, in order for those lineups to not do well, you need those guys to wreck, And so it just doesn't make sense it doesn't make sense in a return on investment way of looking at it to enter, the $8 contest, the $3 contest, where there's going to be thousands of lineups duplicated. It doesn't make sense. So that's the whole reason I put on Twitter, the way to go about it with the Xfinity Series is just to run the single entry tournaments and, go from there. Don't even bother with the big tournaments in this one. Just save your money, approach it, because I was there and I was like, oh, I got to figure it out. And I took a step back and I was like, Brandon, what the hell are you doing? Come on, you're wasting too much time and energy on this stupid Xfinity Series slate that it's going to tie for first. There's no reason to even care about this. So anyway, that's that. So let's get into the Truck Series. And before we get into that, remember, go to racefortheprize.com to get the fancy NASCAR spreadsheet that I use and you need to be using as well. One, it's great for research in general. Pierce has all of the information in one location. It's easy to view, it's color coordinated, it's all their track history, driver ratings, pit stop time for this year in certain races, a lineup optimizer, his projections. If you don't know how to do projections or whatever, he gives you his projections. That's the sheet that he uses. He just allows us to see it, and my God, it's a time saver. I highly advise that you go check it out. We got a lot of races coming up in the second half of the year because we're trying to catch up on all the races that we missed earlier in the year, so go check that out, and let's go break down this Truck Series race. I'm going to start from the bottom of the grid going up, and I'm going to go through this kind of quickly because I want this to be a quicker podcast. We don't need to be here for 45 minutes talking about these stupid trucks. The strategy that I see working out in the Truck Series race tomorrow would be a 2-punt lineup. You might want to do a triple punt. I haven't decided right now. I'm running my lineups as we speak. I don't think they're going to get done in this optimizer before because I'm crunching quite a few drivers and stuff. But it's going to be a 2 or 3 punt lineup. That's just how it's going to be. And there's pretty much everybody inside the top 14. So that's saying Crafton, Lassard, Friesen, Sauter, Smith, Creed, Enfinger, Rhodes, Hill, Eckes, Smith, and Moffitt. The 2 people I did not include there is Tyler Ankrum starting 3rd and Todd Gilliland starting 9th as the 2 guys I have absolutely no interest in. So, 12 out of those top 14 guys I would have interest in if the optimizer says, hey, you should play this guy, or if you have a good feeling about him. So pretty much everybody inside the top 14, and generally speaking, should be in your player pool, should be considered. They all have the chance to do well. Some guys have a better chance of dominating than others. You could argue that Zane Smith probably won't work out, and I would probably take that as well. There are some lineups that I would see Zane Smith working in. But for the most part, most people inside the top 14 are going to work out. Are not going to work out. Like, some are going to work out, some obviously aren't. We have to try and pick who those people are. Probably the best drivers from those would probably be Chandler Smith, Sheldon Creed, Austin Hill, Christian Eckes, and Brett Moffitt. Those would probably be the top guys there, and then you can argue that Johnny Sauter and Friesen and Crafton should be played because they have a lot of place differential upside. So now that we've addressed that elephant in the room, we need to go look at, who are we going to use for punts? Who are we going to use to try and fit as many of these top 15 guys in your lineups as possible? Who do we look at? So starting at the bottom, starting 40th, we got Trey Hutchins. He's a part-time modified driver, races on his own accord whenever he wants to, and he ran some races last year. I'm pretty sure this is his own truck with his family, but last year he ran 24th at Texas, 30th at Iowa, and 16th at Michigan. He starts 40th. I think he's the guy that you need to put in your lineup. Just starting dead last gives you a lot of upside. Dawson Cram, I have no interest in at all. 32nd at Homestead. Should have performed way better. He's too expensive. We can't use him. Not going to use him. Norm Benning, it's a shame. I wanted to see him run better with all these cars. I was hoping he'd run better, but he's still the same Norm Benning this year. Just grandpa Norm Benning, just having fun, and I say that because he's an actual grandpa. He posts a lot on Twitter and Facebook about him and his grandkids, so he's just an old guy chilling, having fun, but not going to be useful for DFS purposes here. Parker Kligerman, $9,400. We don't really got to care about value a whole lot in the truck series. Value doesn't really mean a ton here. You're going to need some of these people starting 30th on back. Parker Kligerman, I'm perfectly fine with that. Ray Cicerelli, the guy who was crucified on social media for wanting to leave. There's some rumors about why he did that. I'm not going to get into them here. I just don't have the time. I would love to. I would maybe tweet at me and I'll tell you what the stuff was. But I just don't have the time to go over it in this video. Finished 27th at Pocono, which was at Wreckfest. You got to remember that Pocono was just a joke of a race. And then Homestead, he finished 29th. Race Cicerelli should be in your pool of punts that you might need to take. I like Jennifer Jo Cobb more. Finished 32nd at Pocono. That's a wide track. It always hurts the underfooted teams because they just can't get up to speed down the straightaways. Finished there just because she didn't end up wrecking. Finished 27th at Homestead, 26th at Charlotte this year. Even though she was right in the back. She just sandbags for the first parts of the race up until stage 3 and then really starts to try and get some positions at the end. Finished 37th at Atlanta. Not too concerning there. Just had a mechanical issue there. I think Jennifer Jo Cobb needs to be in your pool for punts or low-owned guys you need to look for, or gals, whatever you want to say. Tim Veens in I believe it's a race Cicerelli. Let me look. Tim Veens, where are you, Tim Veens? He is in the 49. Yeah, he's in the 49 for Race Cicerelli. I guess he finally left Micah Farno because that dude's a freaking loser. Tim Veens at $4,800 should finish top 28. I think that's all you need from him at $4,800. He needs to be in your pool for low or for cheap guys that you want to use. Clay Greenfield, too expensive. Jesus, Jeff Hammond is just not helping this team out at all. They've been underperforming. I don't know why DraftKings still has him at $8,200. Maybe it's based on last year's finishes, but this team has just not been on fire. $8,200 is just too expensive. I'd much rather go back to Parker Kligerman. Brennan Poole should be in your pool just because he's a good driver. Just trapped on the bottom of ownership points, or of owner points, which is why he keeps drawing here. But if you take out the two races that he's had wrecks in, which was Charlotte and Pocono, this is the top 20 car. I think you need to play him. Spencer Davis, you could argue that you need to play him as well. I would much rather go Parker Kligerman. You can't play them both. You just need one of these guys. So between Spencer Davis and Kligerman, I'd much rather go Kligerman. Cory Roper, a guy that I think you need in your pool for punts. All you need from him is a top 20 finish, top 23, top 24, and if they end up wrecking like they did in the Xfinity Series, this could be a wreck fest. We just got to see Spencer Boyd. Same story here. Spencer and Cory Roper. I think you need to have those guys in your pool for punts, and I'll talk more about them once I get through the field, so don't worry. Jordan Anderson, too expensive, having issues, having mechanical failures, just not going to work out. Don't see it working out. Austin Wayne Self, not interested. Tyler Hill, interested just because I don't think people are going to own him. The Hill Motorsports group has been doing very well. He runs for his brother Timmy Hill. This is a joint venture between him and his brother. I'm perfectly fine. I would not fault you for going there. Tate Fogelman, I'd much rather go Tyler Hill. Bryant Barnhill, probably my favorite punt play here. I understand he finished 38th at Homestead, but he did not have a sponsor. That was a Start and Park endeavor. Brian does have a sponsor this week for this race. He's $4,900 or $4,600, my bad, 46. I love this play. I think this is the punt you need to make whatever lineup you want. If you don't like that, or if you don't trust me, go ahead and use Angela Ruck. Same story here. She should finish around 27th, 28th, $4,500. You just need her to finish the race, basically. But Brian is probably the guy I'm going to focus on the most. Corbin Foster, not interested in it. Tanner Gray, a guy you need to look at. He has a top 10 car. Cody Roper, not interested. This is a 25 on back, a punt. And if people don't know who Bryant is or Barnhill is, they're probably going to go to Cody or some of these other guys. I don't like Cody. Chase, I don't think Chase can work. He's starting about work. He should finish a bit too expensive for me. Ryan Truex, I like. I think he should run all right. That's a top 15 car that he's in. He finished 13th at Atlanta, $7,500. Say if he finishes 13th here, that's a play. Derrick Kraus has a top 10 car in my mind. I think this is a great car. If he got 16th at Charlotte and 15th at Homestead, but I think he just doesn't like those types of tracks. He ran 7th at Atlanta, ran 10th at Pocono. I think this is a top 10 car. That's how I am. Ty Majeski, a lot of people always go to Ty Majeski. I don't know if it's the name. I don't know if it's because he does a lot of late model races. I don't know if it's because of iRacing. And I want Ty Majeski to succeed just as much as other people do because he has bad luck. I mean, he has poor luck. But I don't like him this week for DFS. Nally Decker, $4,700. She was in the hospital last week or last race and missed the race because she was in the hospital. It wasn't due to COVID. I don't know what it was. I didn't really care enough to look into it. But because I'm going to focus on Angela Ruck, Brian Barnhill, and these other guys in the back. And what a weird name, Bryant Barnhill. That's a mouth. That's horrible. That is no flow at all in your mouth. Nally Decker, not interested. Matt Crafton, like I said, this is where we get to the point of the top 14 guys all have upside. If I had to rank or if I had to really target the top 14 guys, it'd probably be Crafton, Sauter, Smith, Creed, Enfinger, and Moffitt. For the guys I would put priority on, but as I said before, I think everybody in the top 14 can work out. They just need the race to go their way. And there's a part of this race that I think could be a wreckfest just from based on the first Xfinity Series race. I need to check and see what the second Xfinity Series race looks like, but these guys suck at racing in general. They couldn't even tame it down on Pocono. So that's how it is. So let's go through the player pool, as I said before, because I don't want to repeat it. Top 14 guys pretty much all should be considered. I just told you who I like above other people. And then starting at the bottom, Trey Hutchins, Parker Kligerman, Ray Ciccarelli, Jennifer Jo Cobb, Tim Veens, Poole, Davis, Roper, Boyd, Tyler Hill, Brian Barnhill, Angela Ruck, and Ryan Truex and Derrick Kraus. Those are the guys. That's my player pool. Those are the guys I'm going to focus on. I got to try and make a good 6 driver team between those guys. I know I kind of ran through this video here, but I just want to get out of the way. And people don't care. They just want the picks. And I'm not really in a ranting mood because I want to go eat because I have not had food yet. I want to go on iRacing Day because I have nothing else to do. So I just want to get this over with and go on iRacing. If you have any questions, tweet at me, BrandonCruzDFS on Twitter. If you want to support me, donation link is in the bottom. It is through Patreon. You do get a Discord link through my own Patreon. It just goes to one of my Discord servers that I have. You can ask me questions in there, but I'd rather Patreon be more for donations. If you want my DFS takes for the Cup Series and stuff, if you want my heat map, if you want my player pool, if you want my projections, and if you want just more stats on where someone needs to finish to hit value, go over to DFS Tavern, go to their Twitter, go to their Patreon, or our Patreon, because I'm with them, and you could join us there. It's pretty cheap. I'll help you out. I'll answer any question you ask in there. I can't promise that in my Discord because I get busy and stuff, but in the DFS Tavern one, if you ask me a question related to Xfinity, Truck Series, even though we don't cover those officially, I'll answer you the best I can. So thank you guys for listening, and we will try it again later next week. Peace out. This is pretty good for take number 2. I guess now that I'm done, I recorded this. I've wasted like 40 minutes on trying to record this freaking podcast, and hey, we're done there. But yeah, peace out, guys.